AVT Rocks. My guest today is Kelly Starr, and your organization is?
Our organization is Adaptive Sports Partners.
What do you do?
So we're a nonprofit organization located in the North Country of New Hampshire and the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. And we empower people with disabilities by building community confidence and skills through sport, recreation, and adventure.
Which means you get to participate in all kinds of wonderful sports.
And help others too.
Yeah, which is so amazing. I first saw you at one of the Tipsy Talks, which was at Jasper's on Main Street, and it was just so much fun. And the video that you showed and the information about the people who were participating, people who previously appear to have been homebound are suddenly out there on skis and on trails. How did you all get started?
Yeah, it's awesome. And the stories really like hit home on what we do and really make it real. And that Tipsy Talk was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
And so we started in 2009. We have a founder, Sandy Kellogg, and she really started us with an amazing group of founders and volunteers, and said essentially our mission, which is still is at the core of what we do today, in that all people with all disabilities deserve to access sport and recreation. And we are here as an organization to make that happen in the safest way possible, with our athletes and their families and their caregivers understanding the risks, but we're going to make it happen.
Right.
And so from there we expanded into Cannon Mountain, which was kind of our first mountain that we were at. And then we grew into this amazing community organization in the North Country of New Hampshire, and slowly grew into Burke and Jay, and throughout the whole Northeast Kingdom of Vermont.
So you're offering winter sports and summer year-round?
Yeah,
clearly.
Year-round is at the core also of what we do. So we obviously have our alpine season at our host mountains, and which is great. We do skiing, snowboarding, and any adaptive equipment. We also have snowshoeing. We do swimming in the winter. We do indoor rock climbing. And we transition to spring, summer, where we do biking, hiking, kayaking, swimming, mountain biking, and we do non-traditional stuff. We do bocce. We have a garden club. We do disc golf. And so it's hard for me to think of a sport that we don't do. So it's great.
And how many of you are involved?
So we have over 200 volunteers who are really at the core of making these programs happen. In a year, we do over 1,500 to 2,000 adaptive sports lessons and activities, and there are only 6 staff total and throughout our whole area. So our volunteers are really at the kind of at the heart and soul of what happens.
Yeah. So you have no limits.
We have no limits.
Which
I love that.
So fantastic.
Yes.
And anybody who has a challenge emotionally, mentally, cognitively, physically, is able to contact your organization and say, what can I do? What can I have?
Exactly.
How can I be involved?
Exactly, yeah.
That is
so
fantastic.
Any age, I think that's, we usually start as young as 3, just for developmentally. It's a good age to start recreating, but we can always, have our arm twisted for
I bet.
We need to.
Particularly for swimming or something like that.
Exactly, for younger people to get in the water and enjoy that. And then we have all disabilities, just like you said, emotional, behavioral, developmental, physical. Sometimes people associate adaptive sports with just physical or just developmental.
Right.
But it's really everyone. If traditional sport and recreation feels like something that you don't have access to, reach out to us, and we can make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite 4-yearly events has been the Paralympics.
It's amazing.
It's just so incredible to see people who have been told they have limits proving that they don't have limits.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is wonderful.
That's amazing.
And Craft Spree every year hosts a couple of events for people with mostly physical challenges. But that's incredible.
Incredible. And we actually partner with Craftsberry. They have an awesome bike program, mountain bike program, where they go to the schools. And we provide adaptive mountain bikes to support any of the students in the schools to access the same program. So they're awesome.
So if somebody in Newport, because that's where we are right now, although this will go out further, is interested in your program, how do they find out about it?
Yes. So we have a great website, adaptivesportspartners.org. we're there. You can also email us. You can call us. Our email, you can email me, Kelly, Kelly,
Yeah.
at adaptivesportspartners.org, and reach out. And we have a lot of connections with the schools now. We have a lot of connections with rehabs, human service organizations. And so if we talk to anyone and you say, you know, we're really looking for an adaptive sports program, we're really looking to ski, know that you can do it and that there's access to it and to connect with us.
Do you work with the schools up here?
We do, yeah, a lot.
Good.
Which has been great. Jay has the Foundations program.
Yes.
It's an amazing program offered to the students in our communities to learn to ski and snowboard and access the mountain it's just amazing. And so that program has been opened up now to all students in their schools with disabilities as well. And so we partner with the schools to ensure that any of the students with disabilities are supported in the Foundations program so they can all come up, be a part of their peers, that is like amazing to see them ski together and just support each other, cheer each other on as all learning the same thing. And it's amazing.
And just doing it differently.
Sometimes doing it exactly the same, just with specialized instruction.
Yes.
You know? So, but yes, exactly. It's pretty great.
How did you get involved in this field?
Well, going way back in 6th grade, our school, where I grew up in New Jersey, and our school made us do a community service project. And I say made because that's how it felt at the time of like a 6th grader. I was into sports and was busy, you know, in my little mind. And my mom had a friend who had a therapeutic horseback riding program.
Yes. And
the friend said, and I liked animals in general, and I was okay with that. And she said, well, she can come, you know, pick up the poop and muck the stalls in the morning before her other things that she has going on. I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. And I started to do that, and then I would see a couple athletes come and ride horses every now and then, and it really just quickly became like this love for seeing what people with disabilities can do and how there's all these tools out there to support people loving the activities that I love to do. And so that was in 6th grade, and I really volunteered all throughout high school doing that. I was a skier and a soccer player and all athlete in all ways. And then in college, not knowing what I wanted to do at all beyond that, I majored in sport management and interned a lot of different adaptive sports programs throughout the Northeast. And so really fell in love with the field. And then I became a special education teacher through like a non-traditional program. If I taught in a inner city for a few years, then you get your license. And so I graduated and committed to that. Still loved working with people with disabilities. That was definitely the field I was supposed to be in. Love seeing teaching and learning and all of that. The school systems are tough. They're really tough.
I would survive about 5 minutes.
Yeah, and my students deserve so much more. The students were great.
Right.
And I was like, they need to be doing a lot of other things than what we're doing here in the classroom. And so I got my master's in recreational therapy, which is awesome field.
Yeah.
And a field that's growing, which is great. People are recognizing the importance. And then, so yeah, that's kind of how it all began. And I mean, my passion for this field has been
from the get-go.
Pretty early on. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So now I'm just really fortunate that it's a career and really a lifestyle. Our community is our friends and our support systems in life is all related to adaptive sports partners, which is also really fun.
Yeah, that is really neat.
Yeah.
And what a wonderful field to offer young kids so that they have the option for themselves in the future.
Exactly. Yep.
And a way to go.
Yep. And it's a great, I mean, even a lot of people don't know about the field. They don't know. Parents don't know that this exists, and especially if you're a parent or a caregiver of someone who's acquired a disability over time, and you're like, now, like, I've never even been in this field, so what options are there? And you really start to learn about, you know, what resources are out there besides their traditional ones.
More than 50 years ago, I trained at a school in the UK that was teaching horse riding to people with disabilities. I mean, it was very different then.
Yep.
But it was pretty amazing. It was so impressive because my background was horses at that point, so I came to it from that end.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see that that's a field that's sort of taking off here, but a little differently.
Yeah, but it is.
Yes.
Yeah, there's definitely, and there's a lot of programs out there,
Right.
which is great and growing.
Yes.
So it's really neat.
Yeah. So somebody comes to you and says, my kid is 6 years old. Where can we go from here? How does it get started?
Yeah, so we have like an intake form.
Yeah.
Gather all the information. Let's learn about how your kid has a really good day. Let's learn about some tough days.
Yeah.
How they like to learn, any assistive devices they use. And we gather that and we have these conversations. So we have the form, but then we really, our program managers call and talk and see what the interest is. What have we done? What haven't we done? And we go from there. A lot of our programs are offered 7 days a week, year round. And so we take 1 week off in April during the vacation week and give our program managers a break, volunteers a break. But otherwise, we're operating.
Wow.
And so we really can work on a lot of different schedules, get people out, and try different things. As much as I love skiing, it's not for everyone. And so some people do go skiing, and they're like, that was way too cold. And then they come swimming with us, and they're like, yep, that's me. Swimming is me, yep. And so different things like that. We're not, one size fits all, which is why we offer so many different programs, because everyone has their own pace and what brings them joy. And our goal is to find recreational activities that bring our athletes and their families and their caregivers joy, so that.
And then you find volunteers in whatever community the person lives in, because obviously not everybody can come to you.
Exactly. So we actually have all of our equipment besides like alpine skiing, which has to happen. That's a little limited. But otherwise, all of our other equipment is in trailers. Yeah. And we trailer to schools, we trailer to community centers, we trailer to trailheads, wherever makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we'll be able to get a group together. If this person is in Lyndonville and has friends that they want to go with, we can get a group together there, and maybe other classmates or whatever it looks like. And we have that flexibility where we really can cater to the needs of the athlete. All of our communities have a strong volunteer base that is always growing and always needs to continue to grow. But, and so we send out, a message to our volunteers saying, hey, we've got a 6-year-old that wants to go biking on Mondays at 2 p.m. Who wants to join it? And
how do you recruit volunteers? Because this show actually might be a way of recruiting volunteers.
Yes. So same way we talked about reaching out to us earlier. Volunteers do not have to have any experience in necessarily, even in the activities. Skiing's a little different because of the skills required. But like our biking is pretty, it depends on the level, but it can look at a bunch of different levels. Same with swimming, same with kind of all of our activities is things can operate at a bunch of different levels. And so if you just are a lover of the outdoors or of recreation of some capacity, reach out, and we do different trainings throughout the year. You start as a shadow and you slowly become an assist and then a lead, depending on really the volunteer's comfort and their preparedness.
Do you have an active group up here?
We do have an active group up here.
That's
yes.
Great.
Yeah, our first year wasn't, it was a mighty small group, but they were great. And now it's getting bigger and bigger, and it continues to grow each year. And that's what matters. So it's pretty awesome.
So somebody who's interested in that can reach out to you or go to your website, find the volunteer form.
Yep, exactly. There's like an application. Yes, exactly.
That's very cool.
And again, with the flexibility of our schedule, if you have a tight schedule or you're like, I'm only available Monday mornings, even that's fine. We don't have like a set commitment.
Right.
And sometimes we have activities that happen then, and sometimes maybe in the spring we don't, but come fall we do. And so just to stay on the radar and in the know.
Do parents have to be involved?
No. Oh, like to do the activities?
Yeah.
No. Nope. Usually, parents aren't involved. I mean, they'll sign them up and bring them there and fill out the forms, and sometimes the parents bring them there, but otherwise, they're pretty great at letting the athlete be like, this is your activity. Yeah. Have fun. Give parents a break.
Exactly. And
parents deserve that.
very often have day jobs, so
absolutely
they can't take that time.
Yep. And we're there on the weekends, evenings. We've got all different kinds of stuff, so we're pretty flexible there. which is nice.
Do you have any life of your own?
Sure.
24/7. And I'm sure it is in some ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, again, our volunteers help make this possible.
Yeah.
We have really flexible schedules. And so, right, so we might not have anything until 4 p.m. that day, but then that's where we do a couple programs.
Sure.
Or maybe our Saturdays and Sundays are super busy, but Wednesdays and Thursdays we have nothing, so.
Right. And you have kids of your own.
I do, yes. So my oldest son, who's 6, he actually participates in Adaptive Sports Partners.
Cool.
So that's pretty awesome. He's a developmental disability, and he has gained so much from being a part of it, which happened after my involvement with Adaptive Sports, which is great.
Yeah.
Pretty neat how it all like full circle.
Yes, and a great way to keep you firmly engaged in the field.
I'm
even
stuck
if you
in it
weren't
now.
anyway.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
that's awesome.
it's so amazing that you would have a child who you knew could really benefit from this, and then you've got it right there.
Yep. And then my older daughters, the oldest one especially, has shown a lot of interest in volunteering, and so we call her our junior volunteer. So she tags along. She's a great skier and just loves it. She's a swimmer. She just eats it up. It's great.
So it is a way as well that teens could be involved.
Oh
as
yeah, and younger.
volunteers.
Yeah. We have a junior volunteer program, internship program. If kids are looking to get internship hours or they need community service hours. Yeah, absolutely. Because our athletes love the young ones. We're like, I think we're cool, but I'll tell you what, then a young 16-year-old comes in and I'm
you
chopped
suddenly
liver.
know how uncool you are.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You can imagine how uncool I would be.
I think you're cool.
Well, thank you.
No.
Do you work with the recreation departments of the local towns?
We do, yeah. We work with a lot of recreation departments, which is great, and even more so coming up. And so Hardwick Recreation Department actually, we had a tough year last year with the bike trail, with the flooding.
Oh, yeah.
But we had a great
Didn't we all?
program started. Yes. We had a great program started where they actually, the rec department approved funding to support any athletes from the Hardwick community who wanted to participate in biking. And it was just awesome. It was a great partnership. We went biking once a week, sometimes twice a week, and good community, great community there. And so that's an awesome example of like the partnerships.
Yeah.
Because our programs have small fees, but we never turn anyone away because of your ability to pay. And so when you're filling out your form online, like let's say you're doing the intake form, everyone has a scholarship option. So you may be able to pay full price, and that's fine. But if not, and the scholarship form is not a complicated one. It's very much like, what can you pay? How can you support our program? And it's really, I think it's really supportive because we don't want finances to be a barrier at all. So that one's a great one. And some parks and rec departments that do camps, sometimes we'll push in to support the camps there. Powers Park does the summer camp there, and we push in for swim lessons to support the adaptive lessons there.
Have you had any contact with Newport?
Yep.
Excellent.
And they actually, in partnership with the up-and-coming Newport Community Sailing Center.
Yes.
And so we do have an adaptive sailboat and a pretty big fleet of kayaks and adaptive kayaking equipment. And so we're going to partner and be partners with them in that process. And hope that comes all to fruition this summer.
And how about lake swimming this
and
summer?
lake swimming,
we can swim in our lake this summer.
We've done a lot of pool swimming, but I tell you, this lake swimming, I think would be awesome.
It would.
It would be really great.
And assuming we don't flood again and have all the debris coming into our lake, that would certainly be an option.
It would
and
be
I
really
would
great.
bet there would be plenty of us who are committed swimmers in this lake who would be
support
interested in participating.
That would be awesome. We would love that. That would be great. And I think swimming, like, you know the joy of swimming in lake. I know the joy of swimming in lake. And it is different than just being in a pool. It kind of adds that outdoor recreation element to it that I think would be awesome.
I mean, swimming in a pool is something we do because we have to.
Right.
Swimming in a lake or a river or the ocean is because we love being in
great.
it. It's very different.
Yeah, I agree. That would be awesome.
What are the biggest challenges that you have as a group?
I would say as a nonprofit, raising money. We have to raise money, and there's no way around that. We have to do it. I work really hard at it. We have Judy, who's our development director. She worked really hard at it.
Grants and more grants.
Grants and grants and
fundraisers.
Got to find that $1 million donor somewhere. That would be great.
There must be one
There
somewhere.
has to be one somewhere. And if you're out there watching, reach out to us.
If you've just won the lottery, please.
Think of us. We can be your small, just like a little small gift. But every little bit does count. And
Yes,
so
it does.
of our donors and our grants and our supporters, it makes such a difference just to have that support. And then on top of funding is finding volunteers, because our athlete numbers are constantly increasing, which is great, because that means education is out there. People know about us and are learning more about adaptive sports in general. And the more athletes we have, the more volunteers we need, which is
which is fabulous.
That's a fabulous problem. Yeah, and volunteers love it when they come. Then getting them to that first one might be our hardest hurdle, but once we get them out, it's great. It's a community, and people realize the impact and the direct impact the volunteers have, and it's just a really great thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I see no reason why this can't just keep growing and growing and growing and growing.
And keep going, and I think it will.
And for those of us up here, we wouldn't be living here if we didn't like being outdoors, really.
Well, it's kind of both of our regions. The North Country of New Hampshire and the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont are very similar in that sense, in that they're rural and they have these beautiful mountains and waterways and recreation, mountain bike trails and everything. And so it's kind of really similar in that now we just need to make sure recreation isn't like a privilege.
Exactly. And I mean, sometimes we don't even call it, quote, recreation. It's just doing what we do.
Doing what we do. Yep. Part of our daily routine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. What about some of the sports that those of us who are used to doing our own personal power sports, like physically moving our bodies, things like all-terrain vehicles and
we don't have a ton of power sports. We do have equipment that is so let's say someone was in a power chair and we have a ski that's joystick operated. We have the sailboat that's joystick operated. We have e-assist bikes, like mountain bikes and things like that. But I would challenge people, if they really liked power sports, dirt biking, ATV things, being on the trails in that capacity, snowmobiling, to reach out to it, because you might get the same thrill, because those are some thrill seekers, and we can try to provide that, Yeah. I think we can match that sometimes.
I personally believe that. I'm not a big fan of other kinds of power sports, but I do understand that for some people
that's how they recreate.
It really is, and harnessing the power of a machine. I mean, I find that with a horse or with skis or with something like that.
Sure.
But for some people, that really is there. And that's a big, hefty machine. So, we're only limited by our imaginations.
And the great thing about technology, too, these days, is its equipment is ever-changing, ever-developing. And it's, sometimes we fight technology in this field of recreation, but in adaptive sports, it's actually been such a amazing thing with what they're coming out with. And
when I watch people who are amputees, unilateral or bilateral, running running fast on those amazing
carbon fiber,
wow,
wild. It's wild. Yep, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I worked in healthcare when there was so little. I mean, the best, we weren't quite at the wooden leg stage, but not really much further forward.
Sure.
Wow, in my lifetime, this
now
has
we have
evolved
joints and
in
they're
that
lightweight.
way.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And people who are technically paraplegic walking.
Yep.
Because of the ability to communicate electronically in that way. It's just incredible.
It's incredible. Yep. And with that, I mean, so the advances in technology are amazing, and then also in terms of people living with disabilities in a different way.
Yes.
And so, there were times where some people with the acquired disability or even born with a disability
Right.
would not have survived certain milestones or certain
Yes.
stages. And now
Exactly.
with the healthcare, like people are very much surviving, and now we are here to make sure that like they're thriving in life. So we got past those
Right.
medical hurdles.
Right.
Now what? You know?
Right. And the expectation that you can really have the same quality of life as anybody else can.
Yep.
And there's no reason why not.
Yep. It's great.
It is. It really is. And we shouldn't be surprised anymore.
No. Nope. Should not be. Everyone's out there
Yeah.
getting the same joys and the same, endorphins
Yeah.
that we talked about.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's great.
And parents no longer being told to, quote, accept limitations.
Right. Pushing it.
Yeah.
Which a lot of our parents do. They're great. Like
Right.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been in clinics where parents have really been talked down. You know, don't look forward, don't see where you can go, accept where you are. And I'm thinking, why? Why?
That doesn't seem like the best advice.
Yeah.
But
Kingdom Games, which is one of our big outdoor recreation
Sure.
options up here,
Yeah.
the logo is no lines, no lanes, no limits. And that's on the back of all of the shirts.
Yep.
And it's really in reference to swimming, you know,
Yeah.
that's what open water swimming is. But it applies to everything.
everything. I
Really
love that.
does.
I
I'm
love that.
sure Phil would let you use it.
That's
And
a great
that's
tagline.
another group to really connect with.
Yeah.
I mean, you met Phil.
That was awesome too. That
Yeah.
to be able to meet him. And
Yeah.
I agree. I think that'd be an awesome. And partnering is like, it's in our name, but it really is huge to what we do.
Yeah.
It allows us to have access to different spaces and mountains and
Right.
whatever. And it's worked out really well.
And events that are really well established.
Mm-hmm.
And why not add more?
Why not add more? Make it for everyone, truly. So a lot of
Yeah.
events want to be for everyone.
Yes.
Just have that hurdle of like, how do we get there?
Right.
And so that's a good spot for us to come in.
How
and
do
be
we
like,
how
can
do we
help.
figure out the next bit? And partnering with you would be such a great way of doing that.
It'd be awesome. It'd be awesome.
Well, we're nearly out of time.
Wow. Look at that.
Yeah, see, it goes so fast.
Yep. Awesome.
What would you like to leave people with so that you can raise money and get more volunteers?
Yeah. I would like to leave people with one, if you have any interest in volunteering, even if you want to like just reach out and ask some questions.
Yeah.
I encourage you to reach out. You're not committed to anything. Just to kind of find out what we do a little bit more and talk to us. So that's my volunteer. Donors, if you have any money that you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to me. And if you have any ideas too on some fundraising even or events that could support our organization or a nonprofit like us,
Right.
let us know. And again, our money goes back to the scholarships and the adaptive equipment,
Right.
and that kind of thing. So it goes right back into it, which is I feel really good about.
Yeah.
And then lastly, if you're a parent or a caregiver or a teacher or a doctor or someone who has a connection to someone with a disability, reach out to us. So even if you're like, oh, well, she has this equipment or this breathing apparatus or, they run away and they're really unsafe, reach out to us.
Yeah.
We have trained staff and we usually can work with a lot of different personalities. And I'll tell you, recreation's the place to kind of let it out.
Right.
So it's a good
And
space for that.
letting it out safely.
Safely, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we'll create that space so that you're in a safe spot and
Yeah.
having a good time.
I mean, we talk as if running away is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be.
Doesn't
that
have to
can
be.
be used in a way that's constructive. Use that energy.
You got energy, you got
productively.
things you want to do.
Yeah.
We can help you kind of create the right
Yeah.
space for that.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us. So awesome.
Yeah. And hope I see you around.
Yes, you will.
Thanks.